I'm Hale Stewart, and I'm with Hale Stewart Law, which is where finance, economics, and law meet. And this is Insurance University. I put this video series together for a very simple reason. Insureds, and that is people who buy insurance policies, typically don't know a whole lot about what their policy covers. This is unfortunately a natural byproduct of the insurance buying process. Raise your hand if you look forward to insurance renewal every year. That is that your policy is about to expire, so you have to call an insurance agent and get new insurance. Tell me if you're thrilled by that prospect. You're not, because nobody is. So as a result, people put minimum effort into understanding what policies cover. Usually, the only time they look at a policy is when they file a claim. And then sometimes something very bad happens, and that's that they discover that they're not covered. So this particular series is really intended to prevent that from happening, at least at a very high level. Today, I'm going to talk about workers' compensation coverage. But before I do, I wanted to mention two things. Number one, I'm an attorney, but you are not my client. This video does not establish an attorney-client relationship. And number two, there are going to be times when I look away from the camera. I've got a couple of documents over here that I'm going to be reading from, so I'm going to grab those and read down and look down. Don't take it rudely; it's not personal. Workers' compensation coverage actually solves a really big problem, and here's the problem it solves. Suppose you're a blue-collar employee. You work for a manufacturing company. You work for a contractor, and you're injured on the job, and it's a bad injury. Maybe you can't return to work at all. Maybe you can only return to work, but in a limited capacity. Between the time of your injury and any kind of legal settlement, you have a big problem, which is, how do I pay for my family's expenses? Now, of course, you can sue, and that was the remedy before workers' compensation coverage came into effect. But it's a very imperfect solution for the employee. You have no idea if you're going to win your lawsuit. If you win it, how much you're going to get, and exactly when you're going to get paid. Maybe you get millions of dollars within a couple of months. Maybe you win at trial after a year and a half or 2 years, and your employer appeals the decision. Now, let's flip this around and look at it from the employer's perspective. The employer's not happy about this either. An employee has been injured, so now the employer has to defend the lawsuit. Litigation, and here's a joke I tell, and sorry to my fellow lawyers on this one, but the only people that really do well in litigation are attorneys because they make money from it. Litigation is time-consuming, expensive, and very stressful, and you have no idea if you're going to win. So the employer could be victorious and not pay anything except legal fees, and then he's going to ask the party that filed the suit to pay the fees. Or he loses big and has to pay millions of dollars and potentially bankrupting the company. Workers' compensation coverage solves this problem, and here's why. I'm going to be reading from the Texas statute. That's where I live, Houston, Texas. Recovery of workers' compensation benefits is the exclusive remedy of an employee covered by workers' compensation insurance coverage. So the employee can no longer sue you for negligence. Okay? He can only get workers' compensation coverage. Now, he can still sue you for an intentional act, an omission of the employer, or the employer's gross negligence, but his tort remedies are greatly limited. Now, there is an entire body of law around workers' compensation where the employee can hire a lawyer and argue about the benefits he gets, but that's a different story, a different game here. What this does is eliminate the variability associated with the gross negligence lawsuit that would occur without workers' compensation coverage. The fact that neither party likes this solution, employees think that the benefits are too chintzy, employers think that the premiums are too high. So anytime that neither party's happy, you pretty much know that a fairly decent solution is in place for both parties in the long run. Next of all, workers' compensation benefits are dictated by state law. And here's a policy that I downloaded from the internet. And here's what it says. Workers' compensation law means the workers' compensation law and occupational database of each state or territory named in this particular coverage. Okay? And what it says here is we will pay promptly when due the benefits required of you by the workers' compensation law. This has a very important ramification. You can't negotiate for benefits. You can't say, I want to pay my employees X percent of their income, or I want income calculated in a certain way. That's dictated by state law. In fact, there is an entire state law legal discipline in workers' compensation. Recently, I was in the law library at my old law school, and I was in the insurance law section. And there's a practitioner's guide, 2 big, thick binders, workers' compensation law and coverage. It's an entire subset of the legal profession. Now, finally, what this also means is that you have to consult an attorney to understand what your state law requires. And that's a very big key takeaway from this video. If you're subject to workers' compensation law, again, state law issue, folks, you need to talk to a specialist in that particular area. That's it for this particular Insurance University video. I hope you found it helpful and useful. Should you have any additional questions, please call me, 832-330-4101. Thank you very much for watching.